future, talk radio will actually educate, inspire, and make you think. The future is now. Topics and music that affect your life from Universal Broadcasting Network. Tune in at ubnradio.com.
Welcome again, friends, to all of our friends across the country and around the world. This is another edition of Focus with Ron Frierson. I am your host, Mr. Ron Frierson, and to my left I have Mr. Woody Wilson. Say hi to the people, Woody.
Happy Friday, people.
That's right. Happy Friday, everyone. Hey, listen, we're going to start off like this, and we're going to get right into it because our president, Donald Trump, is the gift that just keeps giving. I swear. It's not a situation where we have to search for content. It's a situation as we have to decide what to play. I mean, what content to share with you guys, because he's always doing something. Well, anyway, the president this week, he said that he was probably the most unfairly attacked president in history.
Interesting.
That made me think. And I came up with the video I want to show you guys because karma is a bitch. All right? Hey, play that video, Jarvis.
Roll it.
And welcome back to Hannity. We continue with Donald Trump. I did not want to bring this up because every person that interviews you goes right for the birth certificate issue, which, by the way, you did win.
I did.
And
he released it.
They finally...
Whatever it was he released. You know, some people don't know what it was that he released, and I'm not sure what he released, but...
There's one line called place of birth. I'd like to see what he said.
A lot of people want me to talk about place of birth. You saw this audience. Probably the biggest hand I got was when I mentioned place of birth.
Many people do not think it was authentic. His mother was not in the hospital. There were many other things that came out.
Okay, I thought the birth issue was established, that you were satisfied.
I wasn't satisfied. I never said I was satisfied. I never told you that I was satisfied. I want to see, excuse me, who's satisfied?
You don't still question that he was born in the United States, do you?
I have no idea.
Even at this point?
Well, I don't know. Was it a birth certificate? You tell me. You know, some people say that was not his birth certificate. I'm saying I don't know. Nobody knows. And you don't know either, Jonathan. You're a smart guy. You don't know either.
Going back a few years, do you regret questioning President Obama's citizenship? Why or why not?
Not even a little bit. I don't regret it. Why would I regret it?
But he is a citizen. He produced that long-form birth cert.
Well, a lot of people don't agree with you, and a lot of people feel it wasn't a proper certificate.
You, almost single-handedly.
And there's more, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's a clown. We can go on forever with that stuff. He's a clown. Like I said, karma's a bit. He's a clown. I have no sympathy for this fool. For the first African-American president in our nation's history, a transformative figure in just the act of our country coming together to elect someone like Barack Obama in the office, someone like this comes out and refutes it. And that wasn't just a little bit racist. That was a whole lot of bit racist to do that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Okay, so
you
that's
have short memories.
Yeah. He has a short memory, and people should not feel sorry for it. I don't. And then also, another thing, he was talking about Hillary, how she should be locked up for divulging classified evidence and things of that sort.
Right.
As a matter of fact, play that video for us, Jarvis.
I need to open with a very critical breaking news announcement. The FBI has just sent a letter to Congress informing them that they have discovered new emails pertaining to the former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's investigation. And they are reopening the case into her criminal and illegal conduct that threatens the security of the United States of America.
Woo! There's a lot in that one. Okay, so for one, he gave props to FBI Director Comey at the time because he reopened that investigation in Hillary. So he loves Comey back then.
We're out there.
Okay. And then secondly, he's saying that Hillary Clinton should have been locked up because of stuff that she had in her emails that may or may not have been hacked.
Yeah.
Whoa. Now you're talking about the pot calling the
kettle black. I mean, he sounds like he's a politician now. Like he's he's just lying about everything.
That's rich.
Yeah.
That's rich. Now, okay, so let's count the ways that he loves us so much, how he is so different from what he was claiming everyone else to be. Okay, so now he is talking about being the most attacked president of all time. You saw the way he was going at President Obama.
Yeah. Right at him. Like he had a target
in
on
a
him.
very tribalistic, unevolved, racist type of way, a very non-American in this day and age. America, what America was back in the 1800s, 1700s, and early this century, we're trying to get away from that.
Yeah.
He tried to take us back there. He was trying to take us back there. Okay, so he did that and tried to besmirch the reputation of the first African-American president in our country's history. Then secondly, he's just really going off saying that Hillary, remember they used to say lock her up?
Lock her up.
Yeah.
Crooked Hillary.
Because of emails. So what happens this week, Woody? We find out that when the Russian ambassador to the UN and the Russian ambassador to the United States visited the White House.
Guess what happened, folks?
Which was not on the rolls. The American press, they weren't let into the Oval Office.
No, kept out.
But he let the Russian press and these Russian officials, which many of our intelligence officers say are high-level Russian intelligence officers that try to recruit spies. He let them in the Oval Office.
Yes, him and them.
Them.
Yeah, him and them.
Their press was in the Oval Office. Everybody was in the Oval Office, and who knows?
Except for an American.
Except for the American press. Think about that. It's crazy. So you have the spies and the press. They could have planted bugs anywhere. They could have done anything. But he's in there talking to them. And here we go again. All right. Not only does he do that, but he also divulges some sensitive information to them while he's in office, while he's there. He tells them about something about ISIS and how we're combating ISIS. And the way he told them, they were able to find out who the source of that intelligence was, which happened to be our greatest ally in the Middle East, Israel. So he gave up unwittingly, because he's dumb. He made no real estate, but he's dumb. He gave up unwittingly a source of intelligence that could possibly do away with that source. I'm sure whatever agent or however Israel had an agent within ISIS that may have penetrated that organization, I'm sure they had to pull him out for his own safety.
Right.
I mean, just think how
reckless it was. But, I believe that under the president's power, he's got the executive decision to be able to share secret information, right?
True.
So what he did was not illegal. Whether or not it was smart, we don't know. But I do know that he's operating from a corporate level, like his company, like he's running his corporation. So his decisions were always made at the top, and he could make them swiftly. But he doesn't understand the politics of the White House, and he's just doing things, impulsively, and making a lot of mistakes.
And he also obviously does not understand national security or intelligence. Now, by him saying that and giving that, Israel, they can penetrate into different communities within the Middle East the way we never would be able to. They have, fluent Arabic speakers, and they have, they're a Middle Eastern country. They have people that look like they could be part of these other Middle Eastern countries. So they have a very, very complex, intricate, and a fantastic intelligence unit in Israel.
Yes.
So by you exposing Israel like that they are the source of someone could die, and it can also make Israel think to themselves, we got to be careful of what we tell our American friends.
We all have that friend we know we can't tell anything.
Yeah, because it'll get out exactly.
Everybody know.
And also, you think about it, Israel is our somewhat surrogate state or sister state in the Middle
ally,
East. They're our biggest
strongest
ally.
Yeah.
You know who Russia's strongest ally is in the Middle East? Iran. You know who Israel's arch nemesis is in the Middle East? Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Think about
that doesn't make for
Russia.
a good relationship.
Russia's strongest ally in the Middle East is Iran. Our strongest ally in the Middle East is Israel. He's telling Russia stuff that they don't need to know, okay? And so
definitely a bad move.
What makes you think they won't share with Iran, and how in some way, shape, or form Iran could use this against Israel? It's so dumb, and we all know those people that still support Trump, that if the shoe was on the other foot and if President Obama had done anything remotely similar to what he did, you guys would be up in storms. Sean Hannity, his head would probably, he have a nosebleed.
He'd have his purple head burst.
Rush Limbaugh get skinny and start dunking the basket. I mean, you never know. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I don't know what to say about that, Wood.
Hey man, listen. I think he's just making a lot of gaffes. Like he really is not. He's not familiar with the political process. The kind of the secrecy and what to say and what not to say. I don't feel sorry for him. I mean, I almost said that, but I know he's tripping over his own feet. He can't help it. Like
he can't help it.
He can't help it. And he's going to continue to do that because he's on this power drive. You know, he's the executive. He's always been doing things as he wanted them done, and I think he needs to pull back and listen to his advisors and really, slow down a little bit. But it may be too late.
Yeah, it may be.
It might be too late.
Yeah, maybe, and that would be good for us if it's too late, because his gaffes don't just affect him. Yeah, his reputation will be affected, but it's our national security, it's our country, our civilization that will pay for whatever he does that's wrong. I mean, it's when national security is compromised, and Trump he's super rich. He may not be as rich as he claims to be, but he's obviously rich. So he's wealthy. He's going to be somewhat insulated the way most people with massive amounts of wealth won't be insulated. But it's going to be us, the regular American people, that are going to pay because of his incompetence.
Yeah.
Okay? And then at the same time, he's weakening the institutions that
democracy.
I think that's what's going to break him down.
He's threatening democracy.
So what happened last week, not this past week, but the week before, he fired Comey. What time is it, Jarvis? We have the local time here, because I want to get off into this. I tell you what, let's take a
5:12.
Okay, let's take a break real quick, and I want to get off
pay
into
some bills,
this.
Right?
Yeah. I want to get off into this Comey firing after our first break, because I really don't want to get interrupted on this. Okay, let's take a commercial break.
Pay some bills.
That's right.
I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, edge control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, Keratin Fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago watches on Amazon.
Where does your favorite restaurant get its bread? Do they make it themselves? If not, make sure your favorite restaurant uses Artisan Crust Bakery for all their baked goods. 100% natural, 100% fresh, 100% delicious.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hey, so listen, we were talking about all the different ways that the president is making America great again. We were talking about how much he loves us and how much he's going to make America great again.
Funny. That's hilarious. That's a good one. I like that.
And so before we went to commercial break, I didn't want to be interrupted on this. That's why I took the commercial break just a tad bit off schedule, is because him firing FBI director, well, now former FBI director Jim Comey, has opened up a whole new hornet's nest for him. He basically has stepped in it now, okay? Because now he's taken on one of the institutions that their sole role is to know stuff.
Well, the intelligence community hasn't been on his side, I don't think.
Because he attacked them.
You know? So now, I mean, who does that?
I know.
Like,
it's so
I don't think he understood exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, he's not very smart. Like I said, he may understand means and bounds as real estate talk. He may understand, how to lay down, some sort of concrete for flooring or sell a hotel. But in regards to running a massive organization like the United States government in both policy and character, because part of the presidency is to have high character so that people can look up to you and be proud of you representing our country.
And the world, the representative of the world.
Exactly.
Positive representative.
Exactly. So he came out and he told, after he fired former FBI director Jim Comey.
That was a shock to everybody.
It shocks everyone because of how he did it. He came out and said that some of his surrogates,
when he found out.
Yeah, the FBI director was here in the LA field office
talking
to some of his agents, and it came out, and he thought it was a joke because
he saw it on the monitor behind him.
Saw it on the monitor, and he thought it was a joke of some sort. Found out it wasn't a joke.
Wow, imagine that.
Yeah, and the president's surrogates, including Mike Pence, Sean Spicer's Mike Pence, the vice president, Sean Spicer, the press secretary, all came out and said that the president was following the recommendation of the deputy attorney general.
That's right.
Can't remember his first name, but it's Mr. Rosenstein. Yeah. Well, comes out that the president actually didn't do that. So he made a liar out of those people that came out with that excuse as to why he went.
There's no communication. I don't even know if they get together and powwow and say, hey, okay,
I think maybe they do powwow, Woody, but then I think on top of that, I think that the president comes out and he forgets what they powwowed about, or he finds some way. Speaks emotion, or he tries to find some sense of to save himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Or to make himself. He always tries to put himself as the cream on the cake,
Exactly.
He asked me 3 times, not just once, He's got to make it seem like,
why? Yeah, and that didn't make any sense. So, because in the interview with Lester Holt.
Right, exactly.
He came out and said, no, I knew I was going to fire Comey all the way, beforehand. So that means that it wasn't because of the letter from the deputy attorney general, because he already made up his mind. So that means that he threw the vice president and all his surrogates, including the press secretary, under the bus, saying that what they said wasn't true because he came out and said something different.
Right. Now, had they powwow before that, which I'm sure they did, they have a press meeting, right? This is the story. This is the image we want to project.
Exactly.
So he's got to be one of those guys. You said earlier about the mental capacity of this guy. I mean, he just gets in there and he just says, he goes off script all the time. And so what is that causes you to go off script every time? It's not that hard. You know what to say, but you choose not to because your emotions overtake, or your want to be in power, to show everyone that he's the man.
He's trying to show everybody that he's a man, that he's the final, he's the person that's the
buck stops here.
The buck stops here, and it starts and stops with him. Like, I knew I was going to fire him all the time.
Yeah, it's like he's trying to prove that.
Yeah,
throughout his 100 days or whatever it is.
Oh, yeah, and then, like I said, then he told the president something different. But then what he also didn't count on is that Comey is, if nothing else, he's an intelligence officer. So that means he does intelligent stuff. I was going to say something different, but I said stuff. He's an intelligence officer that does intelligent stuff. And he also peeped Trump's card a long time ago and come to find out that he's been keeping notes on these separate meetings that he's had with Donald Trump,
right,
which include the 3 times that Trump has invited him to the White House and was pretty much trying to seduce him and trying to, buddy with him so that he can drop the investigation into Mike Flynn.
Yeah.
You know what that's called, guys? That's
Coercion?
called it's obstruction of justice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, again, I don't know if it was Trump reverting back to his executive's role in corporate America and wanting to say to one of his board members, hey, lay off him a little bit. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Not understanding ramifications
of
what he was actually doing at that point in time.
So you know what? I didn't think about it like that. So this could have been a situation where he's just too dumb and he doesn't know that he's obstructing justice. He thinks that he's just talking to another guy trying to make a deal.
You could call it dumb. You could call it just having a conversation. You could call it,
okay, let's say in the most politically correct
way. I think he's
way,
ignorant
to it.
Yeah.
He's ignorant to what it means for a president to go at the during the course of an investigation, to go at the lead investigator, asking them to kind of pull up on him. That seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
But you think to Trump he just doesn't see or you think he sees the FBI as working for him, so to speak, like they're his personal FBI?
That's what I'm saying. He's in a corporate mode where everyone works for me. They're going to do what I say do. And he doesn't understand the gray area. And the gray area are the details of it's like opening, medicine, a package, cereal, whatever. You don't read the details, you're going to miss out on something.
And for all you hypocrites out there, what if it was President Obama again? Think about all this stuff that's happened less than 150 days into the president. Less than 150 days into the presidency, all this stuff is coming out, and you still want to follow Trump? You still think that this is your guy?
And then I wonder how people who are his supporters, if they're really supporting him at this point in time. Somebody needs to take the streets and ask these questions. Maybe I'll do that next week and we'll show the video. But we need to find out if they're on board, if they're falling off. I know his approval rating is only 33%, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty consistent.
I think a lot of people held their noses and voted for him, and we spoke about this before, because not everybody that voted for Trump is racist. I have some very close friends who I love that I know voted for Trump, and I know voted for Trump. I disagree with them completely, but they think
and I understand the ideology about wanting
the economy and stuff like
just
that.
Shaking it up, changing it up. We're so angry at upset,
exactly,
or not happy with Democrats and Republicans. So let's just get this guy in there going and just mess it all up and clean it up. They thought he might clean it up.
They thought he may clean it up, and he's made it dirtier. So, but I understand them wanting, and then some people just don't like Hillary, and so they
hate Hillary. People who they don't not like her, they hate her.
And I wonder why they call them,
because the whole crooked Hillary.
Yeah. But still, with that being said, if you think about
stuck by her husband,
President Trump is so much worse than what Hillary could have been. At least she understood decorum, and I always said that there's a difference between being a bad president and being a dangerous president.
Well, I think
Hillary had the potential. And I said I shouldn't say it this way. I should say it this way. At worst, she would have been a bad president. Okay, when I say at worst, I'm looking at the basement. There's a ground level, which means you can only get so bad. At worst, she would have been a bad president, which means she may not have gotten anything passed.
Right.
There may have at some point been something said about whether or not the Clinton Foundation was getting money to help this, because they were going to stay on that forever.
Right.
And because of that, the Republicans in Congress would have never worked with her, and she may have been a one-term president.
Right.
But that's the worst. Okay. The worst with Trump could be some dangerous end of the world type stuff. The worst with him, think about it, because these things that's happening now, these are all because of him. It's not because of anybody else. Just think about when President Obama first got into office.
Right.
You had all these world crises going on.
Yeah.
All these things going on around the world, whether or not it's, some hurricane, whether or not it's something going on in somebody invading someone else, and Russia invading Ukraine. You got so many things going on around the world. So he has all in these global financial crisis.
Yeah.
And nothing like that has happened yet. Everything that's happened with Trump is because of his own doing. And it just has to be luck, or God is saying, like, okay, you guys can only take so much at a time. That he's only having the domestic stuff happen with Trump, with a little sprinkling here of North Korea doing their tests. But for the most part, there's been no major catastrophes internationally that he has to deal with. It's only stuff.
Well, listen,
locally.
I think everyone in the world knew when Trump was running for the presidency of the United States of America that he was not a qualified candidate. There used to be jokes on cable news, Fox and CNN, and people did not take him seriously, right? Because of all of these reasons. He wasn't qualified. He didn't know how to run the country, et cetera, et cetera. He doesn't understand politics in the gray areas that we spoke about earlier. And then they elect him. And so, what did we expect? It's kind of, you ask for it, you got it. So now we have to deal with it. And he's going to continue to make mistakes if he does not kowtow to his advisors and let them really show him.
I don't believe in that. I don't think that he is of the mental mind state. And I wonder about his advisors now as well, because we were all saying that some people that pinched their noses and voted for him, they're saying, okay, we know that he has some shortcomings, but he's hiring smart people around him. But yet the smart people around him, they haven't been able to control him to this point.
That's exactly
so
right.
was to make that happen in the future somehow. And also with the FBI director, Comey, former FBI director,
seemed like a good guy. I didn't know him, but
yeah. But when
never
he was
when
the Russians were in the White House during the same time,
having a meeting with Trump.
And I want my friends that are Trump supporters to really think about this.
Okay, break it down.
In the Oval Office with the Russians and the Russian press, and the American press is not allowed in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, think about that and think about how you would react if it was President Obama doing the exact same thing. Just think about that. Hold that. Keep that in your mind. Then also now think about what I told you about the intelligence that he shared with the Russians, okay? And the intelligence put our sources and methods with our ally Israel at stake.
At stake, yep. Yes,
just think about, and put that in the back of your mind and think about if that was President Obama. Just think about how you react.
I don't even think we have to identify each bullet point with what's going on with Trump and compare it to Obama.
But here's
know
another
that,
one. But this is another one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Trump told the Russians also during this thing, this is a transcript that came out, okay, and I have to read this, that he told them that he fired the FBI director. He called the FBI director a nut job and said by firing him, it will help relieve some pressure. That's a mic drop.
Was that actually, that had to be an audio, right? Was that?
It's a transcript.
It's a transcript from some type,
yeah,
they were taping.
Yeah.
Is there a live, do they record everything that happens in the president's office? Is that like,
I know
that
there's a history of having recording devices in the president's office. It goes back to FDR, because at that time it wasn't as much televised press conferences. So newspaper people would come and sit in the Oval Office as the president would give news conferences, but then they would go back to the newspapers, type the newspapers, and then sometimes they would misquote them.
I wonder if there's
what he would do is
a transcript from Clinton.
I wouldn't be
Clinton
surprised.
And Monica Lewinsky with like a slurp on the transcript.
This is a family show, Woody. This is a family show. Woody took us there.
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Oh, my God.
It's Friday.
It's a family show, Wood. Oh, yeah. But he told the Russians that it would relieve some pressure because he fired the FBI director. Right. Now, if that's not a telling sign that he was trying to obstruct justice while by firing Comey, then you know that this is where this whole case towards an impeachable offense comes to light.
Yeah. So listen. So where we stand today is. So we've got this investigation.
For that Monica Lewinsky thing. You know,
yeah, right. I know. I couldn't let it go. It's stuck in my head. So yeah. So anyway, I think there's kind of I'm relieved a little bit that there's a special investigation going on. Mm-hmm. You know, that Rosenstein said, let's put it into place and let's make it happen. So I think that takes it off the plate for even the politicians. Maybe they feel more relaxed and maybe they'll get back to business a little bit.
Yeah.
But, now that we know that's going on. But as you stated, what happened with Bill Clinton when he was being investigated for Whitewater, they found out about Monica Lewinsky.
That's right.
So that comes full circle. So they may find out other things. But can the FBI and the Department of Justice get your tax returns? Or is it a private corporation and they, by law, cannot reveal them?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
Because I don't understand why we don't know.
I don't know whether or not they can subpoena his returns. I'm not sure about that. Maybe if at some point in the future, it actually is some sort of linkage as to justify them subpoenaing that type of information.
Yeah.
But I'm not.
I would
not
think
certain.
at this stage.
Maybe it may be.
Yeah.
But this so all this stuff that we're finding out about him, it has to do with leaks. It has to do with somehow someone is leaking stuff to the press. Someone within President Trump's inner circle or someone in the White House, they're leaking stuff to the press. We're going to talk about.
They got to get paid for that, don't they?
They may get paid, but they may be patriots too. They may be hearing something that they think that this is something that people need to know. If he's kicking out the American press, this is not what this country is built on. People need to see this.
Yeah.
So
you have to pay me.
We'll see. I mean, if President Obama's doing crazy stuff, that stuff will be leaked as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that says a lot about Trump. We got to take another commercial break. We'll be right back.
Take me out for a drink or something.
I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, edge control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, keratin fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago watches on Amazon.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion, in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Welcome back, everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome back to Focus with Ron Frierson. I'm Ron Frierson. I have Woody Wilson with me, and we have some breaking news, Woody.
Yeah, we have some breaking news that the White House lawyers, the White House lawyers are preparing.
They're researching
impeachment. Yep.
Okay, so I'm going to read here from CNN.com. It says the White House lawyers may have begun researching impeachment procedures in an effort to prepare for what officials still believe is a distant possibility that President Donald Trump could have to fend off attempts to remove him from office. Now, this is less than 150 days in office. They have them researching that. And also, this goes back to what we were saying before the break. It's the leaks.
Must be something there.
Yeah, it's not easy to impeach a president, and even more difficult to remove him from office. Remember, President Clinton was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. There's a difference.
Did he resign?
One has to happen before. No.
I know he was impeached. Right. Go ahead.
Yeah. President Clinton was impeached, but he wasn't removed from office. There's a different vote for removal from office, but it starts with impeachment.
Right.
So there's a chance that it's either censured or removed from office after the impeachment process. So with President Clinton, it was voted that he was impeached, but then when it came to a choice between censure and removal from office, they didn't have the votes to remove him from office, so they censured him. So basically, they gave him a tongue lashing and told him that
Move
he was
on,
wrong.
young man.
Yeah, and
we don't want to read any more of those transcripts.
And so I'm not certain whether or not Trump will be removed from office, but he may be impeached, which again, for people that know, there's two different things. So he may in fact be impeached for some impeachable offense, but he may be censured as opposed to being removed from office. And the only reason I think he should be removed from office, but the only reason I'm really skeptical about whether or not they will remove him is because we're so polarized, and the Republicans know that if they get rid of him, then that may say something about them, and so they may just want to keep him there weakened. I'm not certain. I'm just not very.
On which
confident.
count would you want him removed from office because of which offensive?
That's a good question.
Action.
That's a good question. That's a very good question. I think that if it comes out that there has been any sort of collusion between his staff and the Russians that helped him get elected, and he may not have been party to it, but if it comes out that he's been party to covering it up because he didn't want it to get out, then that would be just as damning as it would have been if he had done it himself. And for that, I think he should be removed from office. That's just my take.
If it comes to if it concludes that he, in fact, was colluding.
No, not if he was colluding. If he was proven to have covered up the collusion. I really don't think.
So right now he's
me.
good. There's no reason to really fire him right now.
Well, no, not right now, because not enough has come out. So I think that, in my opinion, I think that there may have been collusion that he didn't know about. So let's just say people in his campaign.
I believe that.
Okay, so in that case, then he's not free and clear, but that I don't think that's something he could be removed from office for. But if it comes out that after he found out about it, that he's been doing stuff to help cover it up just because he wants to save face,
he's out of
that's when I think.
So what if they pull his tax returns and he's got real estate investments in Russia? That, of course, is a state-run government, right? So he had to deal with Putin. So now he's got an investment in Russia. How does that play into the guidelines of the President of the United States? And is that enough to have him impeached? Or I don't know the answer to that question. Do you know the answer to that question? Like what happens if he in fact has real estate in Russia and has met with Putin and has,
I don't think that in itself is an impeachable offense because he is an international businessman.
Do you have to divulge that that's the case? Like, I do have a relationship with this.
You would have hoped that he would have done that already, wherein he would have gone ahead and say, okay, I have business interests there.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's so much as the interest he has there. I think it's the interest they have in him.
I understand, but what I'm saying from a tax return standpoint, why is he hiding his tax returns? Is it because he's not as wealthy as he is, or because he's got this business relationship with Russia? Or and if in fact they find it, is that enough to anything? It just goes in the pile, but it doesn't really. It's not effective.
I don't know if the tax. I'm not sure the tax returns would show that much more. It may show that he has business interests there, but again, in my opinion, it's not what he makes from them. It's what he owes them. This is the key. If he's making money out of Russia, that's one thing. He may have business interests, legitimate business interests, that he's making money out of Russia. But if he has debts in Russia because they have loaned him something or they have investments in him, that is the thing. And I think that may be something that he doesn't want to have divulged to the public.
Right.
If he owes debts to some Russian
oligarchs.
So there's
an investment there.
So it's their investment.
So they have
so it's not like he's making money. You know what I'm saying? So he has a revenue stream coming from Russia. He's an international businessman. He may have that. But if it has that he has debt with Russian oligarchs, or if they've been using him to launder money, because not all their sources of income over there are legitimate, and if they go through his hotels or his organizations, any of his companies, to launder money, and if he has debt because he's borrowed money from them to get something done, then that's where it comes.
So
to
if he owes Putin something, then that's detrimental to the presidency.
But I actually think that Putin is so smart. The way Putin works out, and I remember, I think it was either Vice News or something I was watching. Well, one thing that Putin's so smart about is that he may not have that much in his name, so to speak. So in his name, the stuff that he divulges to the public in regards to his financials doesn't show his true worth.
Okay.
He has people around him with companies and stuff that's set up, and his, so there may be some of these Russian oligarchs. It's an oligarchy.
He's
it's a few
untrustworthy.
people with a lot of money, and a lot of them are beholden to him because if they trip,
he'll chop their heads off.
Not just that, but he can have the Russian government go in and snatch their
whole family,
not their family, but their money too. He can have their bank. He can seize their funds.
I went straight mafia.
I know you did because he's probably done that too. Yeah. But he can probably have their assets seized and just take it. So through those different intermediaries, I wouldn't be surprised that he has some connection with Trump, but not directly because Putin's too smart for that. Yeah. Trump would be dumb enough to do something like that, but Putin's too smart for that.
And so is that impeachment? I think that just goes into the pile of these things that we found out in the first 100 days, but I don't think that's impeachable.
It all depends on degree.
It was prior to. If he denied having those relationships, okay, there we have some justification for impeachment. But I think if he just had the relationship prior to and just never divulged it, I don't know if there's a crime there.
It could be a crime if for whatever reason he's proven to be through these other. See, all this other stuff, it can all lead to the same narrative. So let's say the stuff that you're saying, if it comes out that he does have debt in Russia, or some of these Russian oligarchs have some sort of hold on him,
right,
and then it comes out that he's fired the FBI director, and it comes out that he's given sensitive classified information to the Russians. Now we all understand why he's doing that, and that is impeachable because he's acting, kind of in an offbeat way as an agent of a foreign government because he's giving them information.
Interesting.
And so that's where it starts to get really tricky.
I like to hear that legal argument. Boy, that'd be a doozy right there.
So and he was saying he's made, we're talking about the leaks. So if you have people where you've kicked out the American press and you only have the Russians, some of your core people, and the Russian press, and who's leaking all this information from the White House? There's somebody in his inner circle that's leaking out information. Now,
so he told the Russian press something that got leaked.
He told the Russian ambassadors, but the press was in the room.
Russian ambassador. And so if the press is in the room, if the Russian press is in the room, they leaked it, right?
Or let's just say that if it wasn't the Russian press, maybe he's pulled them to the side, but it's people around.
Okay.
Or maybe the Russians themselves found some way to do it.
Yeah.
But also you got to remember, he's made enemies of the intelligence community.
Yeah.
That's what they do. FBI, CIA, NSA, what they do and what they've done for 50 plus years since World War II is that they've had intelligence. That's how we're able to keep things on balance across the globe. Don't think for a second if they find some enemy, foreign or domestic, that they think could somehow put our country in jeopardy, that it may be someone that'd be willing to
You don't even want the IRS on your back, let alone the CIA, the FBI.
So who knows?
NSA.
I think it would be illegal for them to do so, but I wouldn't be surprised if who knows if someone within Trump's inner circle somehow is leaking stuff to the intelligence community, or someone from the intelligence community is somehow involved, that you don't know of, some undercover something that's in the White House that's just keeping an eye on things to be sure this institution stays on track, because they may not trust our current president. I just wouldn't, I just don't know.
Here's my theory.
Yeah.
I think that the Republican Party and politics, that political arena is so tightly woven that if one Republican finds out, they all know. At least, the ones that have tenure. So it's the Republican Party. Trump is a Republican president. There's going to be Republicans around, and they're going to share that information, and it trickles down so far, I don't think you really know where it's leaked. I know if McCain gets it in his lap, he's going to leak it. But other than that, I think there's just a tight-knit group of folks that share information, and someone gets paid for it.
So let's look at the enemies. Okay, we already said the intelligence community, the Republican establishment. Remember, he threw a lot of people in the Republican establishment underneath the bus during the campaign. The Bushes, the stuff he said about John McCain, that he's not a real war hero. Just about Marco Rubio. He threw every other Republican in the establishment, under the bus so that he can rise to the top, so he can be the nominee for the Republican Party. Okay, right. So he has the Republican establishment that he's made enemies of, whether or not they want to admit it. That's the case. He's talked down allies. The stuff his contentious behavior with the Australians, the stuff he said about Germany in the campaign, all of it. The stuff he said about NATO during the campaign, all these different, the stuff he said about Mexico, stuff he's saying about Canada. He's turned so many of our allies, but out of decorum, out of courtesy, out of history, and out of intelligence, of course they're going to say nice stuff because they know presidents come and go, but their relationship with the United States is going to endure. Yeah. Okay, so he may say stuff, but it's okay. This person, at the most, he may get 8 years.
It's like
our country still need to get along despite this. So I'm going to say these nice things, but deep down inside, I hate his guts.
Right.
That's probably what they're saying. That's probably what Angela Merkel was saying in Germany. It's like, I'm going to be the statesman that I am.
Right.
But then I hate his guts, but I'm going to act a certain way. So that means, really, I think when it comes down to it, he doesn't have many allies around the world. In regards to Israel, Israel is our closest ally no matter what. But I've never been a fan of Bibi Netanyahu, just because I think he's like what Dick Cheney is. I've never been a fan of Bibi. I would rather someone else be the prime minister there, but it's not for me to say. It's their country, so they can choose whoever the leader is. But I just think that he's like Dick Cheney, and you get a combination of him and Trump together. That's not good for the country. That's not good for Israel. That's not good for the United States. And that's just my opinion on that. So he has all these enemies.
He's got all these enemies, and we're not even talking about North Korea. That North Korea-Syria situation. I mean, that's serious business.
Serious.
We should be focusing on these things: healthcare, education. This just stifles the whole progress, and it's disappointing. It's a threat to democracy. It can't go on. They have to investigate, find out what's up, but it probably will not come to conclusion until at least 3 years from now.
That's a perfect segue. When we come back, we're going to talk about where we would have hoped, and I'm sure some of his supporters would have hoped we would have been focusing on now instead of his trifling ways. So when we come back from this commercial break, we're going to talk about the stuff that really needs to be done and the questions as to whether or not it will be done in this administration.
If you don't know trifling, look it up. By the time we come back.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Dr. Yates. I'm a hair transplant surgeon. When people come to see me, they have a problem. They've lost a lot of hair and they want their hair back. We have our own line of hair products, and I think it's a real winner. The way we start is with Mega Biotin. Number 2, edge control. It prevents breakage and holds the edges down. Apple cider vinegar shampoo. It adds body, it adds shine, and it also reduces inflammation. Depending on if your hair is dry, you want to use hydrating. If your hair is thin, you use the thickening shampoo. Then we have our secret sauce, argan oil. With that, we have what's called Miracle Blowout. The Sheen Spray is basically kind of a permutation of the argan oil. It just adds a finishing touch to the hair. And finally, the Dynamic Duo, keratin fibers. This makes your hair look thicker instantaneously. This doesn't come out in the wind, doesn't come out in the rain. We can guarantee this will help your hair and keep you from coming to see me about hair loss.
Zhivago timepieces are luxury watches for both women and men. Designs for women are inspired by classic femininity while maintaining their contemporary style. Designs for men blend classic elegance and sporty versatility. All timepieces remain true to the Zhivago lifestyle, including their glamorous presentation, which is a nod to the famous Parisian fragrance that started it all. Zhivago timepieces transcend the ages, recalling life's most treasured moments. Let Zhivago inspire you.
Visit www.zhivagowatches.com or shop Zhivago watches on Amazon.
Here's Simone and Valerie, real estate professionals with Coldwell Banker Beverly Hills North, the #1 grossing office in the nation. Whether you're thinking of purchasing a new home, selling your old, or just have real estate related questions, we're confident we can help you.
One of the biggest complaints people have of their agent is lack of communication, so we make sure we are constantly in touch with our clients and keep them informed every step of the way. Our philosophy is simple: provide our clients with outstanding service from start to finish.
Our goal is to be there for you from your first home to any future properties you buy or sell.
We want to be your agents for life.
Flowers are nature's expression of love and appreciation. There is no better way to show your love and appreciation than with these beautifully intricate arrangements by Designs by David. Designs by David will deliver beautiful arrangements to you for any occasion in any city and state around the world. Love and appreciation should be expressed every day. Express it with Designs by David today. Mention Focus with Ron Frierson for a discount.
Hey, welcome back. Welcome back, everyone. So we've been bashing Trump this entire time, but let's just pretend for a few minutes. Just
Okay.
give me the pleasure of a little fantasy that what if Trump was normal and regular?
Huh.
What if he was able to really follow through on the stuff that he was elected to do? Because he was
phenomenal.
elected. Or
He'd be
let's say he was telling the truth.
Wait, actually not. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's say he was telling the truth on what he was actually going to do for the American people. This is a pleasant fantasy.
Yeah.
A nice little fiction. Okay, so infrastructure. He said that he was going to build bridges and repair roads. Will he get there? Is he with all the stuff he's facing, will he be able to pass a massive infrastructure bill that will help fix Flint, Michigan? That will help fix the crumbling roads and bridges we have in this country?
I think if he did, it would quiet the storm a little bit, but
yeah. But would he ever be able to get? Would the Democrats want to work with him, even on an infrastructure bill at this point, to give him any feather in his cap, any semblance? Because they see him drowning. If they do something for him, I hate to say it, but politically speaking, why not just let him drown and get that stuff done during the next administration? I'm not sure. I mean,
there we go with politics.
Exactly.
That's what I hate about
right.
Washington.
Exactly. But
let's just move forward and get it done. I'm not happy with the Democrats either. I think that they need to stop. I mean, there's this contentious, overlay of anxiety within our halls of justice, and they need to calm the storm and just work together and remember why you got elected, to help the people. They're not even thinking about that now. It's almost as if, I remember when Obama was elected, they said our objective is to make him a one-term president. Really, that was their objective, and they tried to make that happen. But and now the Republicans are doing that with Trump. And this guy, he's actually shining the light on himself. He's making his own mistakes. He's tripping over his feet. And yeah, we do need to find out what's going on. But at the same time, let's try to work together. And I don't know how you find that happy medium.
I don't know if you can because of what they're putting forth. Because the stuff they put forth right now, I wouldn't want the Democrats to work with them. I don't want them to work with them on this health care reform because they're trying to gut Obamacare. So if the Republicans put forth a plan or a bill that was going to improve Obamacare and make it, fill in the gaps and make it better, let's do it. But they're not. They're trying to repeal it. They want to erase Obama from the history rolls of trying to start something that could possibly be something great for our country in the future if they fixed it. So I'm okay with the Democrats not working with them on that. So in that case, fine, don't work with them. Right. And then, in regards to tax reform would be good if they came up with a fair tax reform wherein we're still a progressive system and it's a way that it's going to make our tax policy fairer at the same time and make it our economy grow. I'll be for that. But they can't put forth a tax reform bill, or the tax reform bill that they would put forth is something that's some Ayn Rand
end around
Paul Ryan sort of concoction where everything's going to trickle to the top and we're going to become like one of those third world countries where you only have rich and poor and there's no middle class. So it all depends. So I'm not upset about the Democrats not helping Trump unless Trump puts forth something that's worth helping. If he puts something forth that's worth the collaboration, then I say go for it. But if he's still putting forth this dogmatic, super conservative ideological type of policy that's going to hurt working people in the end, because rich people are going to be rich no matter what. If you make above a certain amount of money in this country right now, you'll never have to worry about where your next meal is coming from. But some people do. So are we going to put policies forth where you make more people have to worry about where the next meal is coming from, or fewer people? And at the same time, are you going to put forth policies to make the rich even richer, or are you going to just make some policies that can keep them rich? And I want them to be rich because they are job creators to a certain extent. Keep them rich. Don't make it so they're losing money to the point where they have to worry about where their next meal is coming from too. But there's a balance there. The Republicans don't understand that balance, but a lot of that has to do with campaign contributions.
If you don't know how much a gallon of milk costs or a carton of eggs, you don't know what's up.
Exactly.
You got to find out.
Exactly. So that's, and then also I said infrastructure, also the immigration deal. I mean, there is an issue with immigration, and we need to come to some agreement on how we're going to deal with immigration. Maybe he will be able to tackle that, but he can't because he's so dogmatic. And his immigration ban has been stayed again by the Hawaiian court, the federal court out of Hawaii, I believe.
Right.
Yeah. So none of these substantive policy issues that he wanted to address are going to be tackled. And I think we're out of time too. So everyone, thank you for bearing with us. Thank you for starting your weekend with us again on Focus with Ron Frierson with me and my boy Woody Wilson.
Yes, sir.
Great show. If you guys have any questions for us, shoot me off an email at ronnie.frierson@gmail.com. In the subject line, put in focus so I know what you're hitting me about. And
don't contact me.
And if you're interested in advertising on the show, shoot the email off as well. It's growing, and it's actually pretty exciting.
It's a good show, man.
It's
a lot of fun.
Very exciting. So everyone, thank you again. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Have a good one.